All right, so on our journey here to creating an animated video by leveraging AI, our next step is, prior to getting into the video generation portion of the course, we need to take all the images that we've generated for all the characters and organize them into separate folders. This is just a means of organization. And once we do that, we're going to focus on developing consistent character scenes. So what does that mean? That basically means creating images of the scenes from the story. So let's talk about that in a second. But first of all, let's just take each of these images for each character and put them in the correct folder. So for the narrator, I have two images. So I'm just going to copy those two and just drop them in here. I have four images for Leo. And then for Ben, I have three images here. And the remaining are Maya. Okay, perfect. So all the images are now in the designated folders. Let's start with Ben. And what I want to do is basically select the top one that I'm going to use. So you just want to do a quick assessment and see which one fits best. You also want to consider which one is the one with the least amount of flaws. So if you see anything out of line, it's probably not the best one to select from. For instance, the face here looks a little incomplete, looks a little disfigured here. So I'm probably not going to go with this one. I think out of the three, I'm probably going to select this one right here. This one seems to be most wholesome. So that will probably be sufficient. We'll try it out. So I'm just going to select, I'm just going to say Ben 1. I'm just going to give it a name. So we're going to go to the next one. We're just going to do the same for all of them. So for Leo's, say out of all of these, this is probably the most fitting, probably the best one that we have. So I'm going to go with that one. So I'm going to call it Leo 1. Then we're going to go to Maya. Okay. And I suppose out of these three, probably maybe this one. I don't think I'm going to go with this one. This is probably good for, I think I'll go with this one right here. Probably the best image of all of them, and also the attire that she's wearing is probably most appropriate for like exploration. So we'll go with that one. Okay, so we're going to call this Maya 1. And then the narrator. So I only have two images for the narrator, so I just got to pick between both of them. And I think I'll go with, let's go with this one. This one is a little bit more informal, I would say. So we have these two images here, and I think I'm going to go with this one. I think as a narrator, this will probably fit a little better. It's a tiny bit more formal, so we'll go with that. So we'll call this narrator 1. Perfect. All right, so I have the images, the selected images for each of them. Now, what we need to do is look at the story script real quick. And so what you want to perceive is that we're going to be developing images for each scene. For example, let's look at the first scene. We'll start there. So in the first scene, what characters do I have? I have the narrator, and then I have Leo. So we'll start with the very first one, the narrator. So in a small village, a young man named Leo dreamed of an adventure. Okay. One day he decided to explore the enchanted forest nearby. He packed some food and set off, excited and a bit nervous. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. Now, you're going to need an image for each part of the scene as well, right? So we're going to start with this. I think the easiest way to do it is just copy. And we're going to open up. So we're going to copy that. Then we're going to open up Leonardo AI. And once we get here, what you want to do before anything is click on this button here. And once you click on that, you're going to select character reference. Now, I have a premium account with Leonardo AI. It's like 10 bucks a month or 12 bucks a month, and it allows me to access these features. So you can always get a trial version or try it out for 1 month if you want to use this character reference feature. And if not, there are other methods to do it, but I recommend using this feature in Leonardo AI. Fairly cheap, and honestly, for the result that you're getting out from this course, it's definitely worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on character reference, and I'm going to upload an image to get started. And then once I'm in the folder of interest, I'm going to click on narrator, and then I'll click on the image that I want. So you want to select the image because you want to submit a prompt that will generate an image based on the attached original image of the character. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this. So I want to say, give me an image of the scene of the attached narrator based on the following words that he will speak. Okay, we're just going to give this a shot and see what happens. Don't know what to expect, but that's the beauty of utilizing AI. Now, if this is a little too much of a prompt, we can cut it down. All right, here we go. So we have a narrator in a forest setting, and he's in a position where he can talk about, for example, the forest. Looks like he has food in his hands, so I think some of these might work. This looks pretty good. You know, let's go ahead and generate another one. But to have the narrator in the same scene where the characters will essentially play their role isn't a bad idea. So it sets the tone, essentially. So we're going to go ahead and pick one of these. Let's see which one fits best. All right. So this actually might be good. I think I'm going to end up probably using this just to start off, so the narrator perhaps can start off speaking over this background. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. We can have the narrator speak in the area as well, so I'm going to go ahead and download that. We're going to pick some other ones that we think are relevant, so we can kind of show different scenes. This wouldn't be bad. Now, we need to be consistent, remember, in terms of look and attire and all of that. So it's not a bad idea to select different ones. And then ultimately we'll gather and see which ones are most consistent. You have to kind of play around with it. Sometimes you need to generate a few times until you get the correct number of scenes. So we want to make sure that we gather as many consistent character scenes as possible. So it's a good idea to do a few generations, generate a number of images, and then pick between the best ones. Okay, so we have a couple of more here. I think this one is pretty good. We could probably make use of that. And again, later we'll select and see which one fits best. Maybe I'll just do one more and then we'll proceed on to the next scene. So that should be sufficient, especially if it's just perhaps like one or two lines of the narrator speaking. So that's not going to take much time in the video generation. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. So this one might be good, maybe to show Leo in the background. Looks like a person who's walking by there, so it kind of gives an illustration of someone walking into a forest. That might work pretty well. Let's go with that. All right, so we're going to play around with this. later on during the video generation section. For now, let's move on to the next scene. So the next part of the scene is when Leo is looking at some trees and he says, wow, this place is amazing. I can't wait to see what's inside. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And this is probably the easiest way to get your appropriate images. You're giving the AI the appropriate information. So here I'm going to say, we're just going to modify this a little bit. And we're going to say, give me an image of the scene of the attached character based on the following words that he will speak. Okay, now obviously I need to change the image here, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out and select a different image. So I'm going to go to character reference again. I'm going to upload a new image. And I'm going to go to animated story images here and go to Leo. And we selected Leo 1. So we're going to go ahead and drop that in there. So I want an image of the scene of the attached character based on the following words that he will speak. Looking at the trees. Wow, this place is amazing. I can't wait to see what's inside. Let's generate. So AI should provide an image of Leo looking at trees in the forest and with an amused face. That's the expectation. All right, so he looks way too serious, so we're definitely going to alter that. Okay, give me an image of the scene of the attached character based on the following words that he will speak. Make him look happy and excited. And let's go ahead and generate that. All right, so this looks a little better. So here we have Leo in the forest. He looks way too serious there. Way too serious. Still pretty serious, but at least he's looking at trees here, so we may be able to use that. Let's download this. And we're going to try something else, okay? Give an image of the scene of the attached character based on the following words that he will speak. Make him look happy and excited while he is looking up at the trees. So we just added some more information there. All right, let's see what we got. So still a pretty serious face. We're going to add something. Give him a smile. So just simply by mentioning that, hopefully, it will give us a happier Leo. Because right now he looks way too serious. You can't blame him. He's in the forest all alone. But still, we want him to be somewhat happy. All right. All right, so it's been a little challenging to try to get a smile out of this guy. So the cool thing is we have another program called Lip Sync that will help facilitate that a little better. So we're going to download some images, and then later on we'll worry about getting him to smile a little more or kind of demonstrate a happier mood. So remember, you want to also pick clothing that matches what we've been doing. So it's a good idea to select different ones. Make sure the clothing is consistent throughout the story. So I'm going to generate probably one or two more of these and then move on to the next character. All right, he looks a little bit happier there. So I can take this one right here. And let's move on. Okay, so that will suffice for now. We're going to go on to the next scene. Or I should say the next part of the scene. So again, it's the narrator. So let's go ahead and bring the narrator back in. All right, so we're going to replace all of this. The narrator is going to say, as Leo walked deeper into the forest, he felt a sense of wonder, but he didn't know what challenges lie ahead. Okay. So we'll do something relevant there. And we're going to say, and again, you don't have to, you can just say attach character, that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and grab that, get the narrator back in. Now, if you want, you could do all the narrator ones first and go back and do all the Leo ones for next, and then the Ben ones after, or the Maya ones. It's your choice as to how you want to go about generating all of these. Okay, so here I have the narrator kind of going deeper into the woods. So we're going to get one of these where the narrator could kind of talk over it. But I also would like to grab Leo. So what I want to do is I want to say the following, because for this specific line, it would be nice to show the narrator talking at first and then kind of transition into Leo himself walking deeper into the forest. So if you get what I mean, let's go ahead and do it. Give me an image of the scene of the attached character based on the following words. And this time we're going to switch this up again, and we're going to select Leo once more to get him walking deeper into the forest. Okay, so this should be sufficient to grab a few images of Leo walking deeper into the forest. And as you can see, you will have to gather a fair amount of images because you're going to generate a video, right? So you want to make sure that you grab a good amount, make them consistent. Once you have a folder, a collection of all the images, then you're good to go. So we want to show him walking deeper. I mean, this one is not going to work because it has two of him. So we're going to delete that one. Sometimes AI will do that. We want him to kind of walk deeper into the forest. So I don't like how these came out. What we're going to do is we're going to show, instead of mentioning what he's going to say, what we can say is, give me an image of the scene of the attached character based on the following, or you can say based on him walking into a deep forest, or walking deeper into a forest. And it's just as simple as that. We can try and see what that will give us. All right, much better, much better. So this one looks pretty neat. He's walking a little deeper into the forest. Our character Leo is very serious, that's for sure. Now, what I can do is, what if I want to get an image of him walking into? So, meaning sort of get a, not an image of his front view, but his back view. Showing a back view of him. Not a front view, but a back view. There we go. So that's a lot better. He has his book bag. He's walking a little bit deeper into the forest. I'll grab one of these. Let me see if any of the other ones came out good. Here he's walking with someone, so that's not the best. I think this one was actually really good. So we're going to stick with that one right here. Okay, awesome. Yeah, this looks good. Walking deeper into the forest. All right, so that essentially completes one full scene for us. We have all the image necessary for one scene. In the next video lesson, I'll cover one more scene. Since there's 5 scenes, I'm not going to go through generating the images for all of them, but I will cover one more scene, perhaps the very next one. And then afterwards, once we have all the images for all the scenes, for all the characters, then we'll focus in on the video generation portion of the course.